The ATSB has released its final report into 3 misaligned takeoffs before first light at Perth Airport in Western Australia over a 10-month period. The incidents saw the aircraft inadvertently line up with the edge lighting rather than the centre line on runway 06 prior to takeoff. On the 12th of June 2023, the flight crew of a Virgin Australia Boeing 737-800 operating a regular passenger transport flight to Sydney identified the aircraft was aligned with the left edge lights of the runway during the takeoff roll and manoeuvred the aircraft back to the centre line. The flight took off and continued to Sydney without further incident. A subsequent aircraft and runway inspection did not find any damage. About 2 months later, on the 10th of August 2023, the pilot of a Western Sky Aviation Cessna 441 Conquest, operating a passenger charter flight to Southern Cross, about 340 kilometres northeast of Perth, detected an impact with the aircraft during the takeoff roll. After takeoff, the pilot returned to Perth and a subsequent inspection found no aircraft damage. However, several damaged runway edge lights were identified. Then, on the 4th of April 2024, the same Cessna 441, again operating a passenger charter flight to Southern Cross, the pilot, different to the previous incident, heard an unusual noise during the takeoff, but believed it had originated from inside the cabin. As all engine indications were normal, the pilot continued with the departure. A runway inspection later that morning found several damaged runway edge lights, and upon returning to the airport, the pilot identified minor damage to the propeller on the right engine. The investigation found in all 3 incidents that when entering runway 06 from taxiway Victor, the pilots taxied past the turn onto the centre line and lined their aircraft up along the runway edge lighting on the far side of the runway from where they entered. Investigator in charge, Stephanie Sabatis, said that several factors known to increase the risk of a misaligned takeoff in the dark were identified in all 3 incidents.
In terms of the runway environment, there was an unlit and unmarked extended pavement area on each side of runway 06, which made the runway appear wider. Additionally, the required runway markings were reported by 2 of the incident pilots to be difficult to see at night. As well, the lead-on lights from taxiway Victor continued across the taxiway, meaning there was limited guidance when taxiing to the runway's centre line.
The investigation found that recessed edge lights at the start of runway 06 could be mistaken for centreline lighting, and there was limited ambient airport lighting around taxiway Victor and runway 06 to enhance visibility. The investigation also identified differences in how the pilots responded to the misaligned takeoff.
In the first incident, the flight crew identified that they had lined up in the incorrect position, manoeuvred the aircraft onto the centre line and continued the takeoff and flight. The pilot of the second incident detected an impact during the takeoff roll and decided to conduct a return to Perth for further inspection. And the pilot of the third incident was not aware the aircraft was misaligned on the runway edge, and damage to the propeller blade was not detected until several flights later.
The features of airport runways and taxiways can vary, and the combination of these features or lack of guidance to assist pilots to navigate or confirm their aircraft's position can increase the risk of runway misalignments. This can be exacerbated at nighttime, where the amount of visual information available is markedly reduced. Therefore, it is important for all pilots to thoroughly brief themselves with the local conditions to increase their awareness of the environment. Since these occurrences, Perth Airport requested an update to aeronautical information publications to identify a misaligned takeoff hotspot on runway 06 and highlight to pilots that runway 06 did not have centreline lighting and that there was extra pavement on either side of the runway. During works to repaint the runway markings, completed in April 2024, Perth Airport also painted chevrons on the extra pavement on either side of runway 06 to delineate this area from the usable runway to assist pilots with determining their position prior to commencing takeoff. The ATSB encourages pilots to report any circumstances where they believe they may have conducted a misaligned takeoff in order to limit the risk to their aircraft and others using the same runway, and to allow aerodrome operators to identify any trends or hotspots. You can read the final report by searching AO-2023-027 on the ATSB's website by the link below or via the link in our bio.